All racing fans, welcome to Get Tied On. I'm Tom Amello. He's Michael Kipnis, the Wizard. We're wending our way into and through August at Saratoga Racecourse. It is now, Michael, the August place to be after a long July for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I guess I've been here since June 30th. It seems like I've been here since Christmas.
Yeah.
It's been that long. I'm running out of things to eat and restaurants to go to.
Yeah, that's right. But you're not running out of horses and races to handicap. So it's a big week, big weekend with Jim Dandy and the Curlin. And it's a big weekend coming up as we'll talk a little later on about the Whitney. But let's start today with the short field Jim Dandy. And, Michael, as I looked at the race, it was clear Chip Honcho was the speed. I think if you asked 100 people, 97 of them might have said that Chip Honcho will be on the lead going into the first turn, that Commandment would be sitting third, and Renegade would be sitting in Wilton. And that really, it looked like a horse on the front, a horse in the middle, and a horse at the rear. And when the gate opened, it looked like Chip Honcho did not get out well. He did make the lead, but the layoff horse, Silent Tactic, was, I think, he had kind of a Star Trek trip. He was someplace where he'd never been before, pressing the pace and forcing the issue. Now, the layoff made him rank, but under any scenario, did you see that playing out?
No, I thought Chief Honcho would be alone on the lead, backing down the pace. But it was a small field, and that horse, the Cassie horse, I guess, was just going to be more aggressive. He's been a bit of a hanger, or an underachiever. And I think Cassie, and that's what Cassie does. He's aggressive. If he doesn't give horses on the lead a free ride, if he could help it. That's his style. So it was probably by design, thinking maybe he can wear down Chief Honcho and get brave if he took the lead.
Well, I'll give a tip of the hat to Cassie, because he spoke forthrightly but not candidly with Maggie Wolfendale before the race. And if that was his tactic, he sure didn't share it.
Yeah. Or maybe the horse fell into that position just by the race dynamics. Who knows? But nevertheless, in the end, it was a 2-horse race.
The thing that, and I sent you an email and you were busy. We haven't talked about this yet. But Commandment was really forced to race wide throughout, chasing that pace, wider certainly than Renegade, who hugged the rail. The GPS from Equibase had Commandment covering 13 more feet, which I was surprised it was only 13 feet, which is about a length and a half more, and he gets beat a half a length. And I was wondering, with watching Pratt constantly looking over his shoulder to see where Renegade was from the 3-path, if this was a perfect prep for 10 furlong, racing wide for 9, being asked late, getting caught, or is Commandment a bit of a hanger?
I could see a little bit of both, and that's why the blinkers were added. I was in the paddock, and it wasn't a full blinker. It was more like a cheater blinker to keep him a little bit more focused. Look, Commandment ran a great race. He ran a winning race. 8 out of 10 times he wins that kind of race at the wire. But in order for Commandment to have lost that race, a Hall of Fame ride and the Renegade A game and Pletcher being on fire that day in a zone, I think all those combined for the victory. Let's break this down a little further. I had my binoculars, one eye on Commandment in the front end, and my other eye way back to where Irad was with Renegade. When Commandment took the lead, and he opened up a little bit. He couldn't open up a lot. He opened up just enough that when I switched my complete focus on Irad, sitting on the rail, 10 lengths at least behind, as soon as he pushed the button at the quarter pole, you saw him, you knew what he was going to do. Renegade has a style. He wants to be as wide as you can be, away from horses. He has a long stride. In the Belmont Stakes, he never got to the position that Golden Tempo was, and even Commandment. He had to rally between horses. He wasn't on the far outside. With this small field, it was easy for Ortiz to angle out to the parking lot and let this horse run like he did in the Arkansas Derby. It was a similar trip as he had that day. It was a beautifully timed move from a horse that has a tremendous amount of talent. And that gave Todd Pletcher, I think, 4 wins on the day. When you're in a zone like he was, and everything was running big, and Rapoli was right there at his hip in every one of those races, the racing gods bless them for that kind of finale for that day. So everything aligned perfectly for the victory. Commandment in defeat ran well. What can you say? You know, he just lost.
Silent Tactic actually ran further on GPS than both the winner and the runner-up. He ran 59.88, which is 31 more feet than Renegade. That's almost 4 lengths, and 2 1/4 lengths further than Commandment. This a good prep for this horse? Is this, or is this a setup for a bounce off the layoff, or a regression off the layoff?
He reminds me of like Ocelli, and the reason I say that is, both those horses have a lot of talent. They're just a cut below the best 3-year-olds. And okay. I don't think Silent Tactic has developed like Ocelli has. Remember, what happened in the spring doesn't necessarily spill over to what happens in the summer. These are steadily developing horses. I don't see the development in Silent Tactic or Ocelli. I think they're good, but they're not going to win a race of the caliber of like the Travers against what we're going to see on that day. Good horses. I think they both need to be in spots where they can get a confidence builder win, because they keep getting beat. Ocelli's still eligible for a maiden special weight race. And I told Whit Beckman for 125K, break the maiden, get the maiden win, and at 1-9 and move on. But that's how I feel about those 2 horses, especially Silent Tactic.
Let's move to the Curlin. Being shifted because of the rain earlier in the week, we went from a 5-horse field to a 7-horse field. favored Chief Wallaby got walloped by Chad Brown's Sea Strike, who was almost 6-1. How do you see this race before, and how did you see it as it played out?
I liked Sea Strike, and those were the two I liked, and I made them pretty close. I like Sea Strike's sprint. He was lightly raced. Now, here's an example of what I mean by a horse that's developing at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what he was in the spring and, and the early summer is not what we're seeing here, especially stretching out to 2 turns. He ran a sneaky good race against the bias on Belmont Stakes Week. And for that reason, in his gallop out, I really made him a major player in this race. That was a race that we bet and hit. He won. He was impressive. He galloped out strong. He looked strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Sea Strike in the Travers off this race.
Wallaby?
No, not Wallaby. Sea Strike.
No, I know. I'm asking you.
No, Chief Wallaby.
Wallaby's proven he's way below. Yes.
No. Well, I would not run him at a mile and a quarter on in the Travers off this race, because both Renegade and the Brad Cox horse, Commandment, ran tons better than Chief Wallaby.
Okay. Let's move to the Grade 3 Adirondack at 6.5 furlongs. You're familiar with the trainer. You interviewed the trainer. You guys have a lot in common. Kinnan LaRose taking over the reins from Tom Amello, and they're killing it this summer.
Well, Kinnan brought his Chipotle to my house a couple days before the race, and we both had a Dos Equis talking about this race. And, Stress Relief had a really good race at Churchill. He was moving forward. I find these 2-year-old races this time of year to be the toughest races to handicap.
Oh, God.
Because you got to guess right. You got to guess, which of the horses. They have one race, a lot of these, because there's no allowance races, right? So right. I showed you today the replay of my horse, Jessie Marie, running second, 30% fit at Delaware, to a horse that's going in the spinaway off just that race, winning by 10, because there's no allowance non-winners of 1. You go from your maiden into the Grade 1.
A stake.
Yeah, into a stake. So, how much does Stress Relief develop from that maiden race to the Adirondack? How does he take to the Saratoga track? I picked him underneath Scarlet Begonia because I thought Scarlet Begonia, I liked that filly's race a little better. And Scarlet Begonia had a tough trip. Probably wouldn't have won because Stress Relief had a perfect trip and was perfectly positioned on the outside. But when they meet up in the spinaway again, you'll have a couple new shooters. This was Stress Relief's day. I'm so happy for my good friend Kinnan LaRose, who took over the training duties from Tom Amello. Even though Amello is always at the helm in some way, he's still involved. But Kinnan does the dirty work and gets up at 4:30 in the morning and trains these horses. And he's a star on the rise. There's no doubt. We talk about the old guard and the new guard. Well, Kinnan LaRose is one of these young up-and-coming trainers that, 5 years from now, who knows where he can be. He might be in the same conversation as some of the trainers that were like him and are now the Chad Browns, the Brad Coxes of today. So no owners left Tom Ames when LaRose took over the stable. And he gets good horses and he gets the job done. And I'm really happy for him. A former Sacred Heart wing player. Good basketball player, hard worker, and he's doing the same, transitioning to horse racing.
Yeah, he opted for an easy career instead of a coaching career, right? Instead of a college coaching career, he went for the easy life of a trainer.
I don't know if it's easier, Tom. I really don't know. When you walk the backstretch, when you see how much rain we got on Wednesday, and you went to his barn and see it was flooded and it was like Noah's Ark, and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week. I don't know how much easier that is than coaching.
Yeah. Let's move on to Sunday's Glens Falls, Grade 2 on the turf. And the winner, Euro runner shipping in from Ascot, Servi, in a race that the public could not make a favorite. You had 5-2 him, 2-1, 5-2, 2-1, 5-2 on the French runner Gazora, and 3-1 on Speed Shopper. Servi, 5 lengths back after 1.25 miles, finished like a runaway train.
You know, I stepped out with our bankroll in this race. I was all over Servi. I know the trainer. He won the 1,000 guineas, the 2,000 guineas. This guy, you know, if you watch the trip of his last race against males, it was great. The problem was we got kebabbed because I did not use the second horse, Storm Miami. I did not use that horse for a dime. I was all over. I had speech. I don't know who ran 3rd and 4th.
Alluring Angel under Carmouche.
Didn't have that horse either. So I blew a strong opinion with just a lousy small win bet. And this horse was miles the best, not a length best, not 2 lengths best, because the pace was slow. And when they turned for home, but they're used to, these Euros are used to those slow paces.
With 52-3, 18-4, 208-3.
I mean, but the paces of these European races are similar to what she faced. And you know, you were telling me some story about some AI program that made a morning line odds of this horse at 9-1. And I was like, what planet are they what racing are they watching? Are they watching on Mars or Pluto? Because how the hell would you even consider, how would you even, I can't even fathom, you know, because if that odds, and that's what the Fox Sports is doing. They're presenting these picks of AI picks. And like, I don't get it. I don't get it because I made the horse 5-2, 2-1 in this field, you know, and that's why I didn't make a big win bet because I wasn't getting 7-2 or 4-1. I was getting what the horse should have been. But if I was getting 9-1, I would have hocked, you know, all my jewelry and my, you know, computers to bet this horse. Explain that one.
If you were getting 9-1 on this horse, you might have gone for the bobblehead collection too.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever ridiculous program is spitting out 9-1 on a horse like this, please explain to me your algorithm.
Anything else stand out to you race-wise that you want to talk about?
Well, you know, again, the track has been, this week was fair. You know, I don't see any kind of pronounced bias. You know, again, the Ortiz brothers and Pratt account for many wins. Lizcano is still looking for his first win, which is pretty amazing. I feel like running into him and sitting him down and coaching him up. I mean, doing the psychological, like, hang in there, brother, because he ain't as bad as that record. And another thing was, I have to say, I was in the winner's circle for the Mike Venezia humanitarian jockey of the year, and they couldn't give it to a better guy than Nick Santagata. And Nick Santagata is a valet, just like Harry Rice, and it's time to put him on our show. Okay. He will be on our show. I just got to corner him for an interview. But there was I was talking to my friend Brad Thomas yesterday, and I don't think there's any other rider I can think of that typifies the blue collar lunchbox guy that really wasn't he didn't have the characteristics of some of the great riders as far as the way he sat, his timing, all that. But man, was this guy good. He just got the job done. And I'm going to have Nicky on. And it was very emotional because it was, Mike Venezia, a guy that I loved. And when the MIG gave the opening speech, I could see the MIG getting tears in his eyes.
He was touched.
And I was touched too. And we saw each other after. And we go, there's not many of us around. That's the history of the sport, right? The history of these people have gone by the wayside. It's not, we still have to hold on to the history of this sport. And that was beautiful.
You mentioned that Todd Pletcher being in the zone after his slow start. I mean, 2 juveniles back to back. Pinpoint beats favored Cyber Steel and Jackpot Rocket, a Billy Mott horse from Frank Fletcher Racing, in the 4th race on August 1st. And the 5th race, Life Changing, beats Judy's Rocket from Mott and Frank Fletcher Racing. So Fletcher got the goods. Billy Mott and Frank Fletcher of Fletcher's Rocket fame debuted 2 horses. And, you never know when Mott sends live ones out, but he sent 2 live ones out, both at 8-1.
Well, let me tell you something. Life Changing ran much faster than this was the filly division. Yep. So ran faster than the boys.
Yep.
And you'll see
full second faster.
Yeah. So you'll see that horse in the same race as Stress Relief in the spinaway. And to me, I'm a little more interested in Life Changing than I am Stress Relief off that performance.
Yeah, that was some performance. But what about Billy Mott sending out 2 live firsters?
Again, Billy Mott is basically first time out of toss out here. He doesn't win a high percentage, but these horses ran well. He's got a couple of.
You think this was leftover birthday cake, because he got washed out on the 29th?
Yeah, I don't. Only you would have those stupid things stored in your brain, I mean, like I would never, it was funny. You have things stored in your brain, right, that no one else does. And then there was a horse running on Saturday. I got to tell you this. The name of the horse it could have been on Friday. So it was, here it is. Listen to this. I have stupid things stored in the Wizard's brain. The name of the horse was in the 5th race against Life Changing. It was a La Rose horse. The name of the horse, Varabadrasasana.
Yep.
Do you know I
Yep.
knew what that meant? You know, I heard it on a infomercial. It's a yoga position. It's a yoga position. So somebody was selling yoga mats, and they got into that position and said that name, and it stayed in my mind because the woman was in this position like a pretzel. Like I couldn't imagine ever being at position and said that name. So that name is a yoga position. I remembered that. The stupid things I remember.
Yeah, there you go. That wasn't a really bad debut by that horse. He did some running in the race.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's a tough race.
Broke slow, finished wide, made up ground. Yeah, certainly out of a good race.
Yeah. Well, we've got a reasonably good race coming up, the Whitney. So why don't we just kind of move to the Whitney? The hype is Nitrogen, the filly, getting a switch from Jose Ortiz to Johnny Velasquez because Jose opted to stay with favored Magnitude. David Aragona made the line and published the line. The full line for the day won't be out till probably Tuesday, Wednesday. But Magnitude's 9-5, Nitrogen 2-1, Sovereignty 3-1, and Baeza, racing for Mott, his third time for Mott, is 7-2. So you've got Magnitude from Steve Asmussen as a solid favorite at 9-5, and the others are kind of close. It's a great field. It's going to be a great day.
Oh, it's 14 races. So I think it starts at 6 a.m. and ends at midnight. Magnitude is 9-5 off the wire to wire Steve Foster and the slop at the distance. This is a slop horse. And he's not getting slop on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, certainly speed from the rail. I got to hand it to Mark Cassie. My hat's off, old school guy. Throwing in a filly against the males, and why not? I mean, this is a tougher task, but boy, was she impressive. What's amazing, Nitrogen is an amazing horse because this horse was meant for turf. This horse was a turf horse, right?
Yep.
And they switched the horse to dirt for the Alabama, and you have not seen this horse on the grass since. And this horse won the Appalachian, won the Edgewood, was beating a nose in a Grade 1 Belmont Oaks, and is better on the dirt. My hat's off to him to throw her into the wolves here, and she's definitely a player.
Michael, because she's a filly, she's going to get 5. She's going to get 5 pounds from the boys, and weight. It's the Thorograph crew and the Performance Figures guys who factor in weight more than handicappers, and weight is always important to trainers. You want to make a comment at all on the fact that she's getting a couple of pounds and she's probably going to get an inside trip?
I think it's all positives.
Okay.
It's all positives. Yeah, I mean, look, fillies beat males, certain types of fillies. I mean, she's 3 for 3 at Saratoga, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, and all 3 were pretty impressive wins, right? The Alabama and 1.25 miles. Look, I mean, Cassie is entering her because he feels she's going to be competitive. And I don't see why she can't be competitive. Antiquarian in post 3.
Yeah, I think, Michael, I want you to talk about Antiquarian. I mean, on figures, Antiquarian here looks a little light, as everybody else does after the top 4. The interesting thing to me, or at least I just your thoughts, is that 3-back off the layoff in the Westchester, antiquarian wins for fun with behind the running down a slow pace. And then, she's on a fast pace in the Met Mile. He's on a fast pace in the Met Mile and kind of melts second off the layoff, and then doesn't get to run at all in the Suburban. So, this is a nice horse, 5-year-old horse. Is this the kind of horse you might be interested in? An underneath spot here is a horse who may get overlooked at a decent price.
I refer to horses like this, Tom, as the Jekyll and Hyde horse.
Okay.
And what I mean is, when you pick him, he's a Jekyll. when you don't pick him, he's a Hyde. I mean,
he's a Murray Garron. Wait a minute. He's a Murray Garron horse. You never know when they're going to run.
Exactly. And look, if he runs back to his, there was a race he ran in the Jockey Club Gold Cup at Saratoga last year. It was a mile and a quarter.
Yeah.
But he beat Sierra Leone and Phileas Fogg, and he did it on the square. Like, he did it legit. I mean, I picked him in the Suburban, and he lost all chance when he stumbled. He ran sneaky well in the Met. He ran big in the Westchester. Velasquez gets off, obviously, to ride Magnitude. Look,
you get a hot jockey.
Look, the horse has got tactical speed. He's got to step his game up. He's got to bring his game.
Absolutely. I was just, you've got 4 legit. We didn't get to Baeza yet. We didn't get to Sovereignty and Baeza. I mean, this is not chopped liver that antiquarian's running against. And, I'm talking about just the whole notion that where's the public going to go heavy here other than Magnitude, and who gets lost, who might Jekyll and Hyde up. That's all I'm
okay.
And you've answered my question.
So will I use antiquarian in my bets? Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. I will.
Okay.
Ford Steel is toast, because what's Ford Steel going to do with Magnitude on the rail? Why do you think? I'm wondering why Phileas Fogg isn't in here. And you look at the field, and I wouldn't run Phileas Fogg in here. I mean, so that horse is Ford Steel is done. Wide Barrio, dry track. He'll never run on a sloppy track again, ever. Right. White Barrio on his best day can win this race for sure, right? Like, what's wrong with his Oaklawn race? He beat Sovereignty on the square. He gets Irads on, right? He's a contender on a dry track. I'm not sure that Saratoga is his favorite surface. He's run 5 times over it with a win. But look, that win was the Whitney in 2023.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit of, he's not quite the Jekyll and Hyde like Antiquarian is, but there's some Jekyll and Hyde in him. Sovereignty, toss out the slop race off the little bit of a freshening. What's wrong with him? On his good days, the best horse in the country. I mean, look, his last 2 have been a little bit under par. But look, he's 3 for 4 at Saratoga. It's Mott. You can't discount him. Tistastic, I don't know why he's in the race. Now we get to Baeza, the other Mott. Okay, so this horse, he's got a habit of breaking slow. He's breaking in the Wilton. He's breaking in the Wilton area code, right?
Yeah.
But once he gets in gear, he's a pretty damn good horse. I mean, his last win was last year in the Pennsylvania Derby at 1 1/8. He beat Magnitude. He's never beaten Sovereignty. He's always finished. He actually beat Sovereignty last time in the slop, running second when Sovereignty ran third. But
Right.
last year, Sovereignty had his number all 3 times. But there ain't nothing wrong with Baeza and Pratt aboard. The pace is going to be quick enough. Okay, let's look at this pace. So Magnitude goes to the front, right? You got Ford Steele. What's he going to do? He ain't rating, right? He's got to go. So the pace is at least going to be solid. And then you got the Stalkers. What Nitrogen's going to be right there attacking. Antiquarian is going to attack. So on the turn, the pace is going to heat up. White Barrio is going to attack at some point. Sovereignty is going to attack at some point. And the last to run is Baeza.
Going to be crowded at the inside the 8th ball.
Well, when they turn for home, you're going to see this race is one of the best races I've seen in a long time. Both on talent, Jekyll and Hyde's, pace scenario, right? Dry track, 1 1/8 miles. So the timing of the move has got to be perfect. It's freaking great. I mean, let
me ask you this from, we have, you haven't studied, we're just kind of reading the race right now. You haven't watched any of the replays or really got into it. I mean, is this the kind of race that the normal bettor or the betting window bettor wants the favorite? I mean, is the favorite automatic in this race?
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who I'm picking, but I'm not picking Magnitude.
Okay.
I'm not picking Magnitude as the favorite. I'm just not.
We're a week out. We're a week. Go ahead. Talk about it.
Well, I'm not picking Magnitude. Number one, I think that he's not going to get away with what he got away on a sloppy sealed track in the Stephen Foster when he wired the field. I don't think Baeza and Sovereignty loved the surface that day. He got away with the lead. Sure, he's a good horse. This is risk reward. Okay.
Right.
There's no reward with the risk on playing this horse. So I am against Magnitude. And I'm just handicapping this race for the first time with you. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking Magnitude as the 9 to 5 morning line. I'm just not. Let him beat me. Okay. So I'm not. So, I'm looking at the rest of the field. Now I got to just, I know I'm, horses like, I think Antiquarian is up against it. Like, I just think that there's too much Jekyll in him, so I don't, can he land a piece in the tries? Yes. Will I pick him on top? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
So,
White Barrio.
White Barrio could improve. He's going to be a nice price. I'm going to find out I'm going to take a look. I saw him. I'm going to take a look at him at the barn in the next couple days and talk to Safi, who has become a more than acquaintance with me. See what that horse is all about. Sovereignty, look at Sovereignty. Okay. His last few races, 4 to 5, 4 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 2. He's 3 to 1 in the morning line.
Yep.
You're getting your price if you like Sovereignty. Okay. Now, Baeza, look, Baeza's going to be the last to move. And while everybody's making middle moves, right? You got the best rider around. Well, at least he's in the same realm as an Irad, right? And Jose. But I like Pratt. He's going to be biding his time. He has the scene. He has the best scene of the movie, right? When they're going to whack Tony Soprano. Okay. Like you're at the door watching Tony Soprano about to get whacked, right?
Mhm.
Pratt is going to be at the door waiting to see if he can whack the rest of the field when he makes his move with Baeza. So he's got the best scene. He's right there watching what's developing. So,
And Michael, what I'd add is, the pace in the Foster that Magnitude set was not, the race flow was moderate, and Baeza managed to gain ground in that. And you make the point that you can't argue that they both that either Sovereignty or Baeza like the wet track.
right. Yeah. Look, Magnitude. What were the fractions? What was the first split of that race? I know
47 and change.
40. That's a moderate pace. That's not a big time pace. I mean,
right.
I think that was, you look at his other races, he beats much weaker in the Razorback, right? And Sodia in Maidan, right? He wins the race against Forever Young. Okay. And so that was a great race. But do you know that those Dubai World Cups are usually speed favoring, surfaces?
Yep.
And so he goes in look, there's no discounting. He's a really good horse, and maybe he's gotten great as a 4-year-old, but this is just let him win it as the favorite. Let him win. Let him all attack him. And if he could put him away, let him win and pay $6 or $5.80.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's a wonderful field with very few you can just pick up and say you're out of here, and it'll be the trip and what kind of track we're going to get, because the forecast for the week into Saturday is a reasonably high percentage chance of rain every day, almost 40% on the Saturday card. So the track itself for the week, unless they seal it every day, is going to have moisture in it.
What's the weather forecast for Saturday?
40%.
Really?
Rain. Yeah.
Well, I'll just tell you one thing. I don't think White Barrio will run if it's sloppy. I think he'll scratch.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it may not be sloppy, but it may be rain and make it wet. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I hope it doesn't. I hope it's a fast, fair track. And, this is, this is not quite the first race I remember that reminds me of this race, but not the quality. It was different. Was the 1967 Woodward, of which I attended. And it was Damascus Buxer, Dr. Fager, and Headever was the rabbit.
That was a nice group.
Right. Now, this race there's no Dr. Fagers and Buck Passers and Damascuses in this race, but it reminds me of that race where the depth of quality in the field was great, was really, this is like the best. This is a Breeders' Cup Classic race.
Yeah. Now, Michael, you mentioned in the conversation today about making some bets and hitting some bets on the cards. And you posted online the excerpts from the betting window. Just talk a little bit about that and where folks can get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, my problem this meet is I either have stunk or I've been really good, but I can't hook them up. Like I have key horses that are winning. I had a really good one the other day that I adjusted after late scratches. I threw them out, but they scratched. The pick of the day was scratched. The pick of the day was the main speed. They scratched the main speed. I took a horse who wasn't even picked and made him the pick of the day as lone speed from a low, I forget the trainer, Linda Dixon.
Yeah. Yes,
and wired the field at almost $13. That was what's the beauty of the betting window. I adjusted it. That was freaking great audible, right? That race we hooked up. We had the winner, the exacta, but I've had so many, Tom, that I could tear my hair out. Actually, my heart monitor that I was wearing that I don't wear anymore, right? They called me from Yale when I lost a photo that cost us $5,000, and my heart beat. The button went off. Like, I've had like these awful, hookups that we're not hitting, but the meet's still young, and you can get the betting window, the new betting window, at my website at wizardracingsports.com. Hopefully it's on the racing form, not this week, next week. I'm hoping before the meet's out, the racing form will have it up. I've been ready since day one. I hope they have it ready next week, but I am ready from day one on my website at wizardracingsports.com.
Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of this show. We'll be back in a week to talk about the Whitney, among other races. And Michael, we've got a couple of interviews up. The Joe Mig was last week. Who's up next, and who's coming up?
Well, we have Jimmy Bond and Tina Bond this week.
I saw him. I want you to know, I saw Jimmy Bond Friday when we were filming for OTB on the backside, and he couldn't be more effusive about how much he enjoyed the experience, and I think what he really appreciated was having the opportunity to do it with Tina Marie.
It was tremendous. It was a Hall of Fame interview, because Tina Marie, people don't know, she represents the horsemen on the backstretch, and she's like the liaison between Naira and the horsemen in the state, and she's a tireless worker. And it was very interesting to have a horseman, a trainer from the other side with her, who, and his wife is on the other side. So it was great. I interviewed today, it'll be next week, and it was fascinating. We talked the Equibase chart callers.
Yes.
It was so fascinating. We dug into, I asked them questions that explain the run-up times, explain how you do your job. I'm amazed at how they do their job. It's so fascinating.
And they got to get it done. They got 20 minutes. They got less than 20 minutes to get it done.
We bitch about getting our work done in time. They got to do everything. But you know something? Their work is the most important work for handicappers, because it's the chart. It's the footnotes. It all comes from them, from two guys. That was fantastic. I got Bobby Dunham coming on, which is going to be...
As you say, Bobby knows where the bodies are buried.
Well, he requested only one thing from me. We're doing the interview here. I have to have iced coffee and wild turkey. He will not attend my house of the interview unless he's got shots of wild turkey in his iced coffee. So I got him coming. I got Safi Joseph lined up. I'm going to try to get a hold of Nikki Sanagata. I've got Joe Applebaum, who is the guy behind the AI 9-1 on the European horse odds maker linesman, but he's got a long history in the game and a great guy. So we got some good interviews coming up. I enjoy them. I mean, I don't even prepare anymore, because I just get into, it's like sitting in a bar and telling me, hey guys, explain what a run-up time is. Are the times really accurate? Why can't they be? Do they do this in Japan? No. Japan, they have everything accurate. They even give you the weights of the horses in the workouts and the race day. Really? Run-up times?
All right. So we got Get Tied On and interviews. So you can find it all at the Wizards Thoroughbred Racing channel and at wizardracingsports.com. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.